to the Parentpreneur channel, where we decode the incredible journey of parenthood and entrepreneurship. If you're a parent navigating the challenges but rewarding path of running a business while raising a family, then you're in the right place. Our channel is the go to resource for insightful stories, expert advice, and practical strategies from real life parentpreneurs who are making it happen. We're here to help you find success, achieve balance, and build legacy that matters. With us today, we have Nathaniel. He is a local here to me, which is like awesome because I don't get to meet that many people who are just here all the time. We're all super busy, and the only time we get to connect really is when we like go to these amazing meetups. I feel really honored and lucky to have you on my channel today, Nathaniel. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm honored as well to be a part of this budding little podcast you got. Maybe I'll be on episode like 100 too.
Oh yes, that would
Coming.
be fun.
Yeah,
Just seeing like our growth.
yeah,
Um, I started this because, as you know, it's can be very challenging to be 100% in everything that you do, and I want to just learn from people like you to see what types of things you're doing, so I can also adapt it to my own life and just become that 1% better every day.
I love it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you. What do you have going on in your life and business?
Well, it's Parentpreneur, so I'd like to start there because that's kind of the number one thing for me as well. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 10-month-old. 10-month-old is on the floor right here playing with some blocks right now. I just put the 2.5-year-old down for his nap, so Um, that's kind of first and foremost. My wife and I are blessed to have two little boys. So that's kind of the number one driving force for us. We are also real estate investors as well. So we buy and sell properties. We're doing a lot of flips now, kind of scaling up the flip side and lowering down a little bit of our wholesaling operation. So I'm sure we'll dive into that a little bit more deeply at some point. But yeah, that's kind of just a really brief intro to me and what I got going on.
Oh goodness, you have the two littles.
Yeah,
Those are tough stages to be
yeah,
at. How are you? Let's just get it right into it. And how are you balancing like the being there for your kids? Because your kids are in a stage where like you actually have to be watching them all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So how
It's
are you balancing that?
Well, it falls a lot on my wife. We were fortunate enough after we had our second that she was able to quit her job. And so I, I don't want to say full time mom because we do split the duties a little bit throughout the day, but she's 80% mom. And and then I kind of get in where I fit in throughout the day. And I'm on the phone a lot. I'm comping properties, looking at properties, and we're starting to. It's been unbalanced. We're starting to kind of balance that out a little bit more, so we can share not only parenting responsibilities but also investing. Those kinds of responsibilities as well. That's why we're making the switch a little bit as far as slowing down on our acquisition side.
It's amazing. So that what does that ideally look like for you?
For me, it's probably pretty 50-50. I do what I do because I want to be able to have the freedom to spend the time with the kids. And, I want her to be as like vested in the business as I am at this point. And the way that she's doing that, she's just being a little bit more active role. And that requires me to be able to take a step back and be parent while she's, given her full focused attention to whatever task she's got at hand. So yeah, I mean, ideally pretty 50-50 in all things. There's of course things that she's going to do better than I am, and vice versa.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
each have our superpowers, right?
yeah,
I think that's really amazing. That's it's really important for all of us to have like a good partner or a good just people who surround us.
yeah,
People call it village. Some people call it mentors. Just to get that extra help and like be able to be successful,
yeah.
right? What's a strategy that you use right now that you're just like, okay, this is something I have to do every day to make sure I'm able to be successful in my day.
Oh man, I keep a lot of like little lists of just, tasks that need to be done. It's, some days it's putting documents together for a lender. Other days it's answering emails. Sometimes it's, hey, these offers have to get out today. So it's just keeping a list of tracking. We have, weekly kind of lists that are a little bit more high level things that don't necessarily need to get done on specific days. And then we have, um, daily lists, which we take the mornings and the nights every day to kind of formulate those lists and say, okay, what do we need going into the day tomorrow? Okay, today's here. What do we need to make sure that gets done today? So that's kind of one way. And then I just keep a really crazy calendar. Like, one thing after another. Okay, it's time to brain dump all this stuff and move on to the next thing. It allows me to just give set aside time for focused attention, whether that be making phone calls, comping, hanging out with the kids. Um, I just have to time block them. It helps me to look at my day like that.
Yeah, I understand. I keep my calendar is very color coded, and then I
Yeah.
have one for every kid. So I have one for my son, I have one for my daughter, I have a family one, and then I have mine. So
Okay.
so yes, they can get very hectic, but it's the
Yeah.
only way I can keep myself organized and be able
Yeah.
to.
To be able to see it all in one spot, and I like the color coding idea. That's something that I started doing recently, so you can just see throughout your day based on
Yeah.
kind of colors, like what's balanced. Oh, what's popping up today? Oh, that's red. I better give that a little bit, like, just attention for a second.
Oh
Um,
my goodness, yes. I
yeah.
think I started doing it when it came about when I was like, oh crap, I know what days the kids have their clubs, but I'm not like, some days they cancel them. Sometimes it's like earlier, or maybe they'll just change them. So I was like, I can't have everything that I have already in my business and also miss things for my kids.
Right.
My kids have always been a priority for me, and I don't want business to change that.
Right.
So that was for me the little like light switch that my husband actually was like, um, I did a calendar for our son. He's like, we're not. He's like, tell me what needs to go on the calendar. We're just gonna. And now it's a weekly thing that we do every like Saturday night over the weekend. If Saturday night usually, but we'll just sit down and we'll go through over like, okay, we need to make sure these things are on our calendar. That way we don't miss them.
Yeah.
So I know for me it's been super important.
Yeah.
Yeah, so discuss a little bit about what you use to keep your partnership with your wife strong, and how you prioritize that relationship, because I know that the kids are really young, and that's like you're in like this stage of like, I need to do a lot of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tough one for sure. We have been working hard on it, our communication, just saying what you're thinking, saying what you need to get off your chest, things like that. So, like, communication just throughout the day, but also like decompressing at the end of the week. We do, like you're kind of saying, we have a weekly like business meeting, but it also spills into like things that we um, are looking back from the week and things that we're looking forward for the next week. So, what did we do well this week? And it can be business or otherwise. And then we take from those and we kind of iterate to the next week. So trying to just improve each week. Um, we don't do the best job of it. I think we missed last month, but we do have like monthly date nights that we say, this is no kid time. Sometimes it's just as simple as putting the kids to bed and taking out a board game and having a board game, just date night. But other times it's like, oh, we're going to go bowling. We're going to go see a movie during the day or something like that. Things that we don't get to do very often. Because as you're aware, the parenting duties take up a lot of time.
It
And
does.
then when you pile on top of that, like, there's things that we just can't do sometimes during the day while the kids are awake that need to be done for the business. They get done before 7 o'clock when the kids wake up, or after 7:30 when the kids go down. Sometimes it's like just we didn't have time to do the dishes so we got to get the dishes done, just simple
I've been
things.
there.
Yeah. So we do a lot of that. We have one thing that actually at Creighton, a little tip Creighton gave me, where there's these little playing cards essentially, and they just have like topics on them, and they're just conversation starters. So it's a really cool little way that we have, instead of spending 15 minutes in front of the TV, we spend 15 minutes reading a card, and you know have a discussion based off of them.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
hadn't thought about that. Whenever I those things don't really match for me in my
Mhm.
partnership with my husband. It's just when we get into games, it's just like, oh my goodness, we're both really competitive,
Yeah.
and it's just yeah, oh my gosh. When my kid was small, my son, when he was younger, he's competitive too. So it would game nights would not be fun.
Yeah. We to combat that, we've found some cooperative games. So
Oh,
games where you guys are playing against the game, which helps that a little bit because I'm extremely competitive. I realized we were playing cribbage um, recently. It's not that I like winning so much, I just hate losing. I hate losing. So
that's
it's weird.
hilarious. Oh
Yeah.
my
So
yeah, yeah, it's just so crazy, like the dynamics, and then as you see your kids grow up, they kind of get the same traits as you, and you're just like, oh goodness, like
yeah,
let me.
it
I
concerns
understand
me.
that, but I
Yeah.
understand. Oh my gosh, yeah, I definitely want to get that list of cooperative games from you.
I will. I'll send you to him. Yeah.
Appreciate it, appreciate it. So, how are you finding support? Are you guys? Do you have like mentors? Do you have like a community? What does your support look like?
A lot of mine, well, outside of my parents, my parents are both Christian, Bible reading, God fearing people. So that provides a lot of that kind of spiritual side of the equation as far as support goes. I'm able to lean on them for, that kind of stuff. But it's really been a lot. You and I met in Sub 2 a long time ago. But it's a lot of people from Sub 2 that I've just become friends with and had, grown relationships with, that like, hey, this is something I'm dealing with. I know that I can reach out to this person because they're in this stage of their career life. And just having different people that you can kind of lean on and rely on for advice and pick me ups and things like that. I mentioned Creighton a minute ago. Like, I went through a personal development coaching with him. Um, I think it's maybe we started about 4 months ago. We just finished it. Um, but yeah, that has been a crazy, amazing eye opener. I always thought of hiring a coach more as just strictly business. Okay, like this is what you need to do this week to tackle the business. But this was completely just a mind shift kind of thing, where has led us to removing or scaling back the acquisition side, just taking stock in the values and the things that um, you want to accomplish each week, month, year, and focusing on what I can do now to have that life, that I'm living in. I think I went a little bit off topic here, but um,
No, I think it goes
yeah,
into what I wanted to talk about, and just like how you see your future and how you're building that, right? You're building you are essentially building a legacy for your
mhm,
family, and you kind of have that vision of, oh, this is how I want it to look like, so these are the steps that I'm taking to get there.
yeah,
um yeah, talk to us a little bit more about that. Like, what are you doing? What are things that you learned?
man, that's a tough one. Like, big picture, long term goal, we love traveling, and so having different places around the country, like vacation, really vacation rentals, is something that we're building towards. At the moment, like I said, we've scaled back our acquisitions for like wholesaling and stuff like that, and we're just focusing strictly kind of on flipping at the moment. So building up the skills of flipping, there's a lot that goes into that, and then also building up the funds to be able to go out and start cherry picking, um, deals across the country that we can turn into real vacation rentals. Places on a lake, places in the mountains that are attracting, visitors year round, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of legacy building, I guess, if that answers your question. So you know, we're going to visit my sister in Nebraska in a couple weeks. Let's have a place there in Nebraska that year round we can use as a vacation rental, you know, a cash flowing vacation rental, and then the week a year that we want to go visit my sister in Nebraska, we got a place that we can stay. We just got to block it off the calendar and make sure nobody else wants it that week, and we go stay there for a week. Just having hands full of those across the
Mhm.
country that we can go enjoy. Um, I'm not I'm not the typical entrepreneur that just I don't want $1 billion. That's not it. I've built kind of the business around our value system, and that value system is spending time outdoors, spending time with the kids, being able to say, you know what, today I'm going to take a couple hours off and we're just going to do a puzzle on this table right here, because we like doing that kind of stuff. So, I'm not going to change the world, and I'm okay with that. At least not at this point in my life. Um, I'm just trying to change the lives that we have and the lives of those around us. Because even though I don't want to make $1 billion, it doesn't mean I can't help somebody else make $1 billion. Because I have all those, I have all the keys. I'm just looking for the lock.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was a very key point. I think legacy doesn't always have to mean financial legacy, but it can also mean like life and how you want to be able to provide that view of life for your
Yeah.
children and for them to grow up and be good stewards of their, of their time, their relationships, everything around them. I think that's
Yeah.
essential. And just being there and being part of that and creating those solutions for them, I think is building a legacy in itself.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
as an entrepreneur, we problem solve a lot.
Hmm.
That's like the biggest thing that we have to learn how to do. We have to learn how to solve problems all the time.
Yeah.
How are you solving problems right now in your life?
In my life, um, I think yeah, leaning on my wife a lot, um, taking her expertise. I think back about 4, maybe 6 months ago, our youngest was like, he did not sleep during the day from 7 o'clock to seven at night to 7 in the morning. You didn't hear a peep out of this kid. He would sleep through the night, no problem. But during the day, he was just struggling, 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 and it took my wife reaching out to somebody who um, knew the problem better than we did to figure out that this kid was just he would what he would do during the day is he'd just like sit there and doze off, like zone out. And we didn't think anything of it, but he was losing sleep pressure because of it, and it would force him to not nap during the day. He was basically napping while he was awake, essentially. Um, so I'm getting there to answer your question, I
Yeah, yeah.
promise. So as far as problem solving, a lot of what I've been doing lately is not solving the problem myself, but going to other people. If you have heard of a book called, I want to say it's called Who Not How.
I know how, yeah.
Um, yeah, like instead of me figuring out how to diagnose a problem that I'm having inside of my CRM, I go to my support team that has the expertise inside of the CRM. Instead of me figuring out like how I'm going to get this next flip, I go right. So we're just using that for everything. Yes, I still do research a lot. I still do my own research and try to figure things out myself. But once it gets to a certain point, I go, you know what? I got to throw my hands up. I got higher level things that I need to be doing rather than diagnosing this problem inside the CRM. I got to move on to this, to the next task. So I think in a roundabout way, I answered that question, your question. Just like, um, I'm not solving a lot of problems personally, right? I have built this network of people that know how to solve problems, and just like Henry Ford didn't know how to build a six-cylinder engine. I think this is the story. I'm going to butcher it, but he said, "Hey, this is what we want to do. I know, get it done." And he put
Yeah.
people in place and he empowered them to be able to solve the problem. And so, yes, while I do still solve problems myself, that's kind of the main thing that we're doing at the moment is just reaching out to people that already know the answers. Because why am I going to reinvent the wheel? Why am I going to try to figure that out myself? I can accelerate faster by surrounding myself that with people that know the answers.
Yes,
And I
it's
can, so yeah, sorry, getting long-winded, but I tend to
no,
go.
but it's very true. I think it's a very key thing in business, for us to learn just to start scaling, right?
Yeah.
When we want to do everything ourselves. I mean, I think a lot of us who grew up in like more, um, with a background that's like more like either immigrants or just struggled more. You didn't have that like high income parent.
Mm.
You learn to do a lot of the things yourself, like we cut our own lawn, we
Right.
do our own cleaning around the house. I mean, we do like everything. It just seems so simple to us. Fix our cars, we fix
Yeah.
our cars, we fix our computers, the technology we have, we figure it out. And as an entrepreneur, you learn that, hey, I can't do everything. That's not scalable.
Yeah.
I'd rather go out and do money making activities and hand this off to somebody else who is better at it than me. Yeah.
Yep.
So I
Not
love that.
only can they get it done faster, they can get it done right the first time. Like a lot of that's when I first started out with my first flip, it was me doing all the work because I didn't have anything else to do really, to be honest. And I knew how to do the work, and that's what you think is like, okay, I know how to do this.
Hmm.
I'll go do it myself. But if you want to, like you're saying, scale, you got to get it off your plate so you can move on to the next task that is maybe a better, higher level task suited for you. Right?
Yeah.
Anybody can go turn to switch a toilet out, but if you're switching your toilet out instead of going and looking for the next deal, is that which one's better? Which one's better suited for your time? And I brought
Exactly.
it back to real estate, but yeah,
No,
Make-
that's very,
yeah,
it's so true. It's so true. And I think in life, it works out that way too. It
hmm
really does.
yeah,
Your priority should be your kids, and sometimes getting the dishes won't be the priority.
right, yeah, exactly. Like we were banging our heads against the wall with this kid, and it's like you keep banging your head against the wall, or you reach out to somebody who knows what the heck they're doing, and it was literally like within a week you're noticing a difference. Like,
Yeah.
man, we maybe would have figured that out, but why are we going to waste a bunch of time trying to figure it out when we have the solution to our problem already, just by reaching out and using the
Yes.
resources that we have.
That is so true. So true. Lately, I've been using that a little bit more in my community because I'm just building those relationships in the community, and it's life changing.
Yeah, it really
Seriously.
is. Yeah, they say
So
your network is your net worth, and that's, I mean, it's not just monetary worth. It's all of the things:
yeah.
mental stress, alleviating all that kind of stuff. So um,
Yes.
definitely, I
It's so true, and then it brings you to the places you want to be quicker
mhm,
and just better
right,
overall.
yeah.
Overall. So, what are systems that you're building in your business or life so that you can be better and be more productive?
We have a lot of Excel sheets. Um, Oddly enough, yeah, we do a lot of Excel sheets that are just keeping track of different things. And then we do have a CRM, a customer relationship manager that we use for, any lead, buyer, seller, realtor comes into that thing, and we're keeping track of that. We did just change CRM, so we're building out funnels and things like that in the new one. It's based off of Go High Level, which you've probably heard of. Maybe people out there haven't, but a customer relationship manager it's basically a really, really powerful Excel sheet. People come in, a lead comes in, and you get to choose what happens to that lead. And there's automated funnels and everything like that um, you can work on and build out. So that's one thing we're building out. We're building out a little bit more of our process for doing flips, because we're going from like doing one a year, one a quarter, to one a month, and having. Sorry, the kid's grabbing my headphones here. He
It's
likes the
okay.
cord.
Oh,
Because we're going from, we're scaling up. We're like, okay, where are some gaps that we can plug in that could cause problems as we
mhm.
start to do more and more and more flipping. So, we're building out processes for that. And again, it's going back to just like spreadsheets, checking the box. Okay, did you turn utilities on? Did you get the insurance done? Like, pre buying the house stuff and then post buying the house stuff. So those kinds of systems we're building out. We've got our kids systems pretty well dialed in at this point. Um, yeah, she just ran and
Those
grabbed me off my
those
feet. Uh,
always evolve though.
yeah, right. Yeah. So at this stage, I should say we've got the kids systems. They're both on pretty strict nap cycles, eating cycles. Eating at specific times of the day. So a lot of those systems are good right now. But like you
Yeah.
said, yeah, soon the baby's gonna go to one nap, and that's gonna affect things. That's gonna throw a whole new like what are they, kink in the chain or chink in the armor or something like
Yeah.
that. So yeah,
So it's important though, like especially personally, I know not all parents do it, and I'm not judging parents who don't do that, but like this, the eating schedules is really important for just dietary stuff. It's so
yeah,
like we could get into that, but it's like super important. I've seen it personally in my life. My parents don't have like a strict eating schedule,
okay,
so my sisters don't have that eating schedule. Like they're not hungry. Like they're younger than I am, so I take care of them,
mhm,
and they're just like okay, like they're like irregularities in their health now because of that I've
mhm.
seen. And I'm just like, my kids are starving. They're like normal
Yeah.
teenagers that they're like, they're not even teenagers yet. And they're like hungry all the time.
Yeah,
Like, oh
I
my.
can't. I'm not looking forward to the teenage boys' years because I just like inhaled everything, and they're already doing that. So I was like, we need to like do two houses a month because
Yeah. Oh my
yeah,
gosh. Yes, it's getting expensive. Yeah, that's like the big thing at our house right now. Our kids are starting to get to that age where they're just like hungry all the time,
yeah,
and they're not eating kids' meals anymore.
no, yeah, they're not
Yeah,
eating. They're
I
not eating
I
this
always
fluffy.
was I always was like, "Oh my gosh, I can totally wait for that. I do not
Yeah,
need to be spending more on food. Like I'm okay." And it actually happened before I thought it would. I thought it would go into like their teenagers. They're not even teenagers yet. They're already hungry,
yeah,
like nonstop. My pantry's always empty. And not because I'm not buying snacks, okay?
yeah. Gosh, no, don't like. I'm thinking too far ahead now. You got my brain going.
Yes, yes, definitely need more deals. So tell us, Nathaniel, what is something that you need right now in your business that our viewers maybe can help you with?
You know, at the moment, I want to say nothing. We are in a little bit of a transition place.
Mhm.
I would say if unless you have good local flip deals to me, we're in. I'm in South Carolina. We typically are in Augusta, Georgia, and going out to Aiken, South Carolina. Um, Pretty like a 45-minute drive is kind of the max of what I'm willing to do. So if you had deals locally, I'd take them and I'd look at them and I'd flip them. But we've gotten pretty set up at this point. I think we're maybe a couple weeks out from figuring out what the heck our next problem is that we're going to be able to solve.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
so yeah,
you always need partnerships, right? We're not lending partnerships, people who have money. And also, I guess deals, what would you say, deals for short-term rentals that are in really cool places, maybe?
I would say yes to that, except for that we're not quite there yet. We're just
Mm,
trying to really focus on the one thing right now, which is getting the processes for our flips in place.
I love
And
that.
I'm hoping that like a month and a half, 2 months from now, we're gonna start choosing our first market for the vacation rentals. But yeah, it's time for me to focus on the one thing right now, and that's what the flipping, scaling up our flipping is just that. So I don't want to be getting pulled away, in other directions from that.
I
I heard
understand that.
Jeremy Davis on the Pace's channel just within the last like month or so, and don't let me butcher it if you're listening, Jeremy. But he said something along the lines like, "We don't do that." Um, you know, his was like, we're a wholesaling company. Hey, do you want to do this Airbnb? No, we don't do that. Because if you start looking over here, now you're not looking here. So I got to put the blinders on um, and just focus on the one thing right now.
That was
Bring them
really
to
good
me, though,
advice.
Betsy. I'm just, no, I'm just kidding.
No, that was really good advice. especially with the littles. I understand like being focused.
Hmm.
That way you can manage everything well.
Yeah.
When you stretch yourself a little thin, it's difficult to do that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like I've been kind of a jack of all trades my whole life, and um, with business, you don't want to do that. You don't want to have a menu of 30 items you make okay. You want to have a menu of 4 items that you make really well. Um, that's what draws the people in time after time, is because you put an emphasis on quality and excellence, and that's what we're trying to do with our flips. I like getting to the closing table, and the person that's buying the house from me be like, "Oh my gosh, you did such an amazing job on this house. I can't wait to raise my family here." Things like that. That's what kind of jazzes you up to move on to the next one. So that's what we're building out.
That's amazing. No, I love that. I really love that. That was like a golden nugget right there.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. How can people reach out to you?
You can pretty search my name there on any platform, and I'll pop up. I think you can even type me into Google at this point, and you'll find my website, that we buy houses here locally through the Expert Home Buyers. But yeah, Nathaniel Hovsepian, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Maybe it might be Nate on YouTube, but I think I'm working on that. So just Nathaniel Hovsepian, and say hi, and we'll be friends.
Definitely. Well, you'll share the link with me so I can have it down there on the description for our
Yeah.
viewers. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and tips. I mean, I think it's a different view from what I've been hearing all morning, but I really enjoy it, and it's just like a refreshing of breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
I get my
Yeah. I
words
gotcha.
mixed up, but I get those messed up all the time too. But yes, yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for
Um,
having me, Betsy.
yeah, so whether you are here like me, trying to learn how to be a better parent and a better business owner, you are right in the right place. We hope that this episode gave you some insights, tips, strategies, some golden nuggets, so that you can also strategize your days, structure your days, and be 1% better tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Bye.
I hope you like it in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Bye.